Does your OCD make you worry that you're going to get people sick or that you're going to hurt them? We're going to talk all about that. Stay tuned. That's what's up next. Hi, my name is Natasha Daniels. I'm a child therapist and I make videos for kids with anxiety and OCD. Today I want to talk to you about something called Harm OCD. Now you may not know the name of it, but you may know the feel of it. Harm OCD makes you worry that you might hurt someone else or get someone else sick. And a lot of times people misunderstand this and they think that you are worried about germs and they think that you're worried about yourself getting sick, when in reality, you worry about everybody else. So if you have Harm OCD, then you worry when you touch things or when you're picking up what you might consider or what your OCD might consider are germs, that you're spreading it around the world to everybody else and they're going to get sick. So sometimes parents or other people or even therapists will see that you're washing your hands over and over and they'll think it's because you're really worried about germs, but in reality, you're really worried about getting other people sick. So the kids that I work with, some of them, they worry about touching their nose, touching their bottom, touching their private parts, touching anything that's germy because they don't want to get other people sick. A lot of these kids have something called Moral OCD, where they worry about being a bad person. And I talk often about OCD being kind of like a buffet, a gross bad buffet. And you might have a main dish of Moral OCD where you worry about being a bad person, and then you might have some side dishes. You might have a side dish of Harm OCD where you're worrying about hurting other people, or you might have a side dish of Symmetry where you have to even things out. So it's not that you have a zillion different types of OCD, it's just that you have OCD, and OCD comes with many different themes. You're at the OCD buffet, you've got a main dish, you've got side dishes, and basically you want to deal with your whole plate. With Harm OCD, besides worrying that you might get other people sick, you might also worry that you're going to actually hurt other people, that you might do something that's going to harm them in any way. And that can be different for each person. We don't have to go into it. It's just that the main fear is that I'm going to hurt other people. So how do you deal with this? Like many other forms of OCD that's on your buffet plate, it's all about doubt. And so OCD loves to use doubt as a weapon against you. You might do this. You might get everybody sick. You might hurt somebody. What if you did that? And the way to beat OCD is to poke back at it. I talk about that in one of my other videos. You want to poke back at OCD. We are all spreading our germs all the time, everywhere. There's no way to prevent that. OCD makes you think that you have some control, when really none of us have control over a lot of things, and that's okay. So the first step is to stop believing OCD's lies. Recognize that you might have Harm OCD, recognize that it's an OCD thought, and then decide what are you going to do about it. Don't partner with your OCD. OCD will want you to avoid things. Hey, don't touch your nose, don't touch your bottom, don't touch the doorknobs, go wash your hands, go do this, go do that. So it'll want you to avoid and do things for it. And you have to ask yourself, who do I want to work for? Do I want to work for OCD or do I want to work for me? And so if you want to work for yourself, then you don't listen to OCD. OCD is not your boss. You are your own boss. And so you fight back and you say, I'm not going to avoid doorknobs. Nobody else is avoiding doorknobs. Nobody else seems to be consumed and worried about other people getting sick because the world is full of germs and we can't avoid them. And so even though my OCD is screaming at me to not touch that doorknob or to go wash my hands after I touch my nose or to avoid whatever it is, and it can be different for each person, you don't avoid. You touch that doorknob. You go near the knives in the knife section. You go near the person you love instead of avoiding them. Whatever OCD is telling you to avoid or to do based on the lies it's trying to feed you, you do it anyway, or you don't do it. So if OCD says go wash your hands, you don't wash your hands. If OCD says don't touch that doorknob, then this is going to be a really tricky one. You touch that doorknob, and not only do you touch that doorknob, but then you touch all the doorknobs at your house. When I work with kids who have Harm OCD, I have them do exposures, or what I like to call challenges, to poke back at OCD. And one way that I do that is we make these challenges where they touch something that OCD thinks is gross or disgusting or germy, and I have them go and touch all the doorknobs or all the light switches in their house or at their school. And that is a great way to poke back at your OCD. The more you can poke back at it and do the opposite of what it wants, the better. You're not spreading any more germs than the rest of us. If your OCD is telling you to avoid something, then you purposely go seek it out. And you spend a lot of time doing the thing that it tells you to avoid. If it tells you to not touch something, then you touch it on purpose. And not only do you touch it, but then you spread it around. So I want you to think about, what kind of things are you doing to avoid your harm OCD? What kind of things are you doing? What kind of compulsions and rules do you have to high five your OCD and to grow it bigger? And then you want to do the opposite. So if you're spending a lot of time avoiding, because most people with harm OCD spend a lot of time avoiding. So if you're doing a lot of avoiding, the simple way to beat OCD is to not avoid. And I know that's easier said than done, but with time and practice, the more you don't avoid, the easier it becomes. And then OCD realizes it can't bother you with that theme anymore. It says, I'm telling her she's spreading her germs everywhere and she's gonna make everyone sick, and she's still doing it. I can't do this anymore. I'll have to pick another theme, or you know what, maybe I'll just kind of get quieter. Wouldn't that be nice? I hope that helps you understand harm OCD a little bit more. And I will see you next week, next Thursday. Don't forget to find the sparkle in everything you do. Take care.